Today in theme 9, we will start our next industry, cotton spinning and weaving and steam power. Now the revolution, we again saw the revolution or change in the cotton spinning and the weaving. Now here you see the picture where you see the so many large industrial area in Britain. British had always woven clothes out of wool and flax. Okay, so wool and flax on that time were the raw material. And from the 17th century, British had been importing the bales of cotton clothes from India at great cost. English East India Company established political control over India and began to import clothes, raw cotton, and which could be spun and woven it in to clothes in England. Okay, so this was the process on that time of Britain. They were also use the uh, clothes, cotton clothes, then raw cotton. Okay, then they could spun that one and then they wove the clothes. Now, till the 18th century, spinning had that was very slow process, and labors of on that time it needed more labors. Mostly women were the spinners. 10 spinners required to supply sufficient yarn to keep a single weaver busy. It means that 10, when the 10 spinners they spins the cotton, okay, then only one single weaver was busy. Okay, they gave the uh, spin that uh, yarn, okay, to the single weaver, while spinners were occupied all day and weavers waited idly to receive the yarn. So the main problem was that the spinners they were not uh, uh, making the yarn very speedily. Okay, now here you see in this picture a manpower. In this picture, you see the woman power and work the treadmill that lowered the lid of cotton press. But many discoveries solved the problem. We see a series of technological inventions successfully close the gap between the speed of the spinning raw material, raw cotton, into yarn or thread and weaving the yarn into the fabric. And to make it even more efficient, production gradually shifting from the homes of spinners and weavers to factories. In 1780s, cotton industry symbolized British industrialization in many ways. This industry had two features. The first one is raw cotton to be entirely import, and a large part of the finished clothes was export. Two things they were doing, the two things. The first thing that they import a raw cotton, okay, and then export the finished product. This situation, this sustained the process of colonization. Now here you see the factories. Okay. Now the so Britain was able to control over the source of raw cotton as well as the market. Okay, the industry, because now here we see that the Britain purchase the import the raw material, raw cotton from the India, and then the finished product Britain also exported again to the India. Okay, so Britain also getting the two things. Okay, and import the raw material and export the finished product. Both the things. The industry was heavily dependent on the work of women and children in the factories. On that time, in the factories, in this cotton spinning and the weaving industry, mainly the women and the children were doing the work. This shows the ugly face of the industrialization, which we will discuss uh, in our next videos. Now, which type of the inventions? We are now here discussing the invention in the textile machinery. Now, the first one is the flying shuttle, designed by John Kay. This flying shuttle, designed by the John Kay in 1704 to 64 in 1733. It helped to weave broader fabrics, okay, in less time and consequently called for more yarn than could be supplied at the prevailing pace of spinning. So here you must have to keep it in your mind that flying shuttle, who designed, who invented? John Kay. In which year? 1733. Okay. Then for which work? To weave broader fabrics. Only this one you must have to keep it in your mind for the 1 mark question. Okay, here you see the inventions of the Industrial Revolution. So many different machines here you see. Now the second one is the spinning jenny, made by James Hargreaves in 1765. In this, a single person could spin several threads of yarn simultaneously. Okay, at the same time, a one person spins several threads of yarn. So this provided weavers with yarn at a faster rate than they could be waved into fabric. So their problem was sorted out. Now here you see, this is the spinning jenny. Now the water frame. Richard Arkwright invented in 1769. It produced a much stronger thread than before. This also made it possible to weave pure cotton fabric rather than fabric that combined linen and cotton yarn. So this was the main feature of this water frame. Okay. Now with the help of this machine, they they were also getting the yarn from the pure cotton fabric. Now the mule was the nickname for a machine invented in 1799 by the Samuel Crompton. It helps the spinning of strong and fine yarn. This is the main feature or main use of this mule. Now here you see, this is the picture of power loom. Now the invented by the Edmund, power loom was invented by Edmund Cartwright in 1787. This was easy to work, stopped automatically every time a thread broke, and could be used to weave any kind of material. From 1830 onward, this industry concentrated on increasing productivity of workers rather than bringing new machines. Then now in this time even also, we also that our industry in Panipat, here you see the too much power looms, the factories and where we see the power looms they used, okay, and for their fabrics and the other things. Now the steam revolution. Now we are talking about the steam power. The realization that steam could generate tremendous power was important to large scale industrialization. Water was the source for centuries, but it had some limitations, seasons, and by the flow of water. So there was a these were the main limitations, that they want the water, okay, for the steam power, and by the flow of the water, that was also the main uh, problem on that time, that they use that how they have to use the water, okay, The steam power provided pressure at high temperature. When they produce the steam with the help of water, okay, and then that steam power provided the pressure at the high temperature. That enabled broad range of machinery. Steam energy was the only source of energy that was reliable, in, uh, inexpensive enough to manufacture machinery itself. So this process was the steam power was very inexpensive. That was not too much costly. Okay, steam power was first used in mining industry. As the demand of the coal and metal expanded, efforts to obtain them from ever deeper mines intensified. Flooding in mines was a serious problem on that time. So the when the people they were doing the work in the mines, then immediately the flood also comes, and the all the people those who were working in the mines they were lost their life. So this was the main problem. Now the Thomas Savery. Thomas Savery in 1650 to 1715 built a model steam engine called a miner's friend in 1698 to drain the mines. These engines worked slowly in shallow depth. Okay, and the boiler burst under the too much pressure. Uh, and another then after Thomas Savery, this is the picture of the uh, miner's friend. Now the James Watt steam engine used only in coal mines on that time. James Watt developed his machine in 1769. Watt's inventions converted the steam engine from being a mere pump into a prime mover, now capable of providing energy to power machine in factories. Now, firstly, they use that steam engines only in the mines, but after that, they will also use that machine steam engines in the factories to run their machines, another machines. Here you see, this is the steam engine. Now the James Watt, with the help of the wealthy manufacturer, Watts created a Soho foundry in Birmingham in 1775. From this foundry, he produced many steam engines. And with the beginning of 18th century, Watt's steam engine began to replace hydraulic power. So this was the new change. Here you see the many engines. The first one, the invention that seed drill. They use that seed drill in the farms. Then condensing steam engine in 1763. Then coke fired furnace in 1709. Spinning jenny, here you see 1764. Flying shuttle 1733. Pendrins 1805, road surface 1827. So these were the on that time so many machines on that time invented by the people. Now after 1800, steam engine technology was further developed with the use of lighter strong metals and with the manufacturers of more accurate machine tools and the spread of better scientific knowledge. In 1840s, British steam engines were generated more than 70% of all European horsepower. So it means that the power of the machines in 1840 we see that that one also increased. Okay, and in 1840s the British steam engines were generated more than 70% of all Europeans horsepower. So very powerful on that time, the British steam engines, and they were used that steam engines not only in the mines but also in the factories. And after that in the next videos I will tell you how they will use that steam engine in the railway even also. Okay, student, thank you.